Hey, my name is Jobby. Hey, my name is Jobby. Hey, my name is Jobby. Just warming up. Hey, my name is Jobby, and welcome to a live review. Today, we are going to talk about the Transformers War for Cybertron Kingdom Core Class Wave 1. Nailed it. And the figures that we are taking a look at include Rattrap, Vertebreak, and Optimus Prime. Now, first impressions out of the box here were pretty damn good, but I don't like opening up these boxes because they just disintegrate. There is no reason why I would need to keep them anymore. Straight into the recycle bin instead of going into storage. They might look like normal size figures at first glance. However, if you take them in your hand, you will see that they are actually pretty damn tiny. As small as my private. I meant your private. And speaking of privacy, consider Surfshark VPN, the sponsor of this video. Surfshark is a virtual private network that's available for virtually every platform, and it allows you to browse the web through a secure, private, and fast connection. You can switch locations to watch region-locked content on Netflix, like some of the Michael Bay masterpieces. But I'd hope you have better taste than giant robot movies and check out my personal favorite, Pacific Rim. Or if you live outside of the US and want to watch Space Jam 2, because who the hell doesn't? You can switch your location to the US to watch HBO Max. Check out the link in the description and use my promo code JOBBY to get 83% off and 3 extra months free. But if access to the Michael Bay Transformers movies and Space Jam 2 isn't enough for you, what the hell's wrong with you? There's a 30-day money-back guarantee. I want to start off with Rattrap. I'm very impressed with the amount of detail that Hasbro or Takara or whoever made this figure included within this small scale. And he doesn't look a lot like how he does in the show, which I actually did watch, don't you know? But he looks a lot more like how he does in the original cartoon. This figure feels like a very small scale masterpiece figure, and it's probably going to be the closest we get to a masterpiece Rattrap because Takara is too busy scamming you out of your money for accessories. But that is another rant for another day. Oh, and as you can see here in the back, there is some weapon storage. Let me just show you that right now. Boom. I want to say that the back's not the best, but it's okay because it's a Beast Wars Transformer. I'm used to it at this point. Now, he can hold his gun, looks all right. Let's talk about the posability here. He's actually pretty articulated. I think this is a ball joint. No, this is more like a, you know. And the arms are a little bit weird. You can basically get the expected amount of shoulder rotation there, and then bend at the elbow, no wrist joint. No waist. It's okay, because it's tiny. I don't care. It's not that big of a deal, I promise. But yeah, no mid-section rotation, we'll just say. And of course the hips, very nice, very nice. But one of these, and I suppose in robot mode, you're not really supposed to bend it like this, but you can cheese it and make it a double bend at the knee. And then of course his disgusting little rat feet. There's something that I love about the Kingdom toy line so far is that they have emphasized ankle pivots. All of these ball joints can be one of these for you memesters in the chat. You could really tell that it's a brain on this figure. They did an excellent job at sculpting. Very tiny, very cool. Like my next figure, Vertebreak. Now, Vertebreak, to my knowledge, is a completely original character, not based on any existing Transformers lore. He didn't even come out in the show. Honestly, all of these fossilizer characters did not appear in the show, and kind of a wasted opportunity because these figures are cool. This figure in particular is really cool. I love that fossil bone aesthetic, and the painting, they did a great job on here too. A lot of nice natural gradients here. Weapon storage, seamless weapon storage, may I add. That is a tail whip weapon, but when you plug it into her back like that, you can barely tell. Just looks like a natural part of the figure. That's nice. And yes, I am referring to her as a she. I actually had to look it up last minute on the TF wiki to confirm. Yes, this is a female Predacon. And look at that Predacon symbol. Very clean. And this flap is made out of a flexible material. Kind of annoying. Doesn't really like to plug in, but whatever. Because this is actually not a bad figure as well. Thank you very much. Not bad at all. Articulation is essentially the same as Rattrap, although she does feature normal ball-jointed shoulders instead of that weird side ball joint that Rattrap had. Get that articulation, get a ball joint at the elbow. You get no waist thingy. But honestly, she doesn't even have a real waist, so it's okay. Terrifying looking crotch. Okay. Rotation at the legs. Here, ball joint, unencumbered by any sort of skirt detail, so pretty unlimited with that, but I don't know why you would want to pose her like this, but, you know, the fact that I said she's female, that guarantees that the internet wants to fuck her. Beautiful spread! A bend at the knee, ball joint at the ankle, which allows for a pivot, and every ball joint can be, of course, back kibble, pretty much non-existent. I mean, these arms, you could call that back kibble, but it's a pretty typical Dinobot trope to have arms in the back. It doesn't bother me that much. It's interesting to me that this little lady isn't as thick as our next figure. Oh, I straight up threw her. As thick as our next figure, Optimus Prime. The 3,000th time that we've taken a look at Optimus. What to say about this figure that I haven't already said? His back is not the best. That weapon storage is not the best either, but that, you know, that doesn't bother me that much. Pull it out of his ass there. The idea of a Core Class Optimus Prime and a Starscream and a Megatron for that matter, it made me think that the show, you know, Transformers War for Cybertron Kingdom on Netflix, it made me think that they were gonna do something fun. I don't know, maybe there's an episode where the G1 characters shrink down and they walk into Megatron's mouth. Let's let him hold his gun. Optimus Prime, as you expect him, as he should be. I'm just noticing now his eyes seem to be unpainted. What are they? Let me look at them with my own eyes. No, they're not. They're not unpainted. They're painted, but it's barely indistinguishable from the head sculpt itself, and that looks kind of cheap. Which these figures are, by the way. They're not that expensive. You know, a link in the description. Although they do cost as much as a deluxe class figure would back in the day, but inflation's real. Let's take a look at that articulation. Can't really look up and down. If you decide to look up, then that whole assembly goes with it. But you know, you can get one of these. Is that stress marks? Are those stress marks? I'm a happy man. I'm not. No problem. It just plugs right back in. Got a ball joint at the shoulder, and then he can do this. This is more so for the transformation, but you can cheese it a little bit to make it articulation related, and you get a ball joint at the elbow. No real wrist articulation, but you can do that again, more so for the transformation. No. I guess you can count that, although I don't know why you would pose him like that. Looks very awkward. Whatever. This is also more so for the transformation. Ball joint at the hips can move out that far and can move back that far. Been a while since I caught out the articulation like this, but for a live review, you kind of have no choice. And of course, that ball joint, you can cheese it a little bit. I feel like I've been saying cheese it a lot. Maybe I want some Cheez-Its. I don't know. I haven't ate yet. You can cheese that into a thigh swivel a little bit there. Almost forgot, ba-boom. Bend at the knee, which is also a ball joint. Majority ball joints here. And no ankle articulation. However, it is sculpted at an angle to simulate a pivot, just to give you an idea about how small each of these guys are. They barely come up to 4 inches, which should sound familiar to a lot of you. That is my third dick joke. Thanks for watching, everybody. We got Figma Modica Kaname, SH Monster Arts Godzilla, and of course we have Transform Element OP Leader here. I just realized Vertebreak is the perfect description of the status of my back. I dug up my old deluxe class Transformers Generations Rattrap out of the storage just for this comparison. I like this robot mode a little bit more. This figure is still pretty good, but time hasn't been the nicest to its joints, and it just looks a little more clunky than I prefer. And of course, gotta get Big Bot himself. This is the Transformers Kingdom Optimus Primal, for those of you who don't know, which I did review. You can check that out. Link in the description. Let me just focus on transforming it here. Oh, let's see how it goes on camera. And here we have the rat mode. Really cute, which I appreciate because rats in real life are not the ugly monsters that the Transformers Generation figure would have you believe. Yeah, those hands sticking out of the rat ass is not the best looking, but it isn't the worst. Pretty impressive kibble management for a tiny Transformer. Unpainted tail. It's also not flexible at all. Very stiff piece. I think if you put enough force, you can break it, but why the hell would you do that? You Psychopath. Love that little highlight at the eye. Gives it just a tiny bit of life. No mouth articulation. No front leg articulation. The only piece of articulation you have are these wide hips. This rat is thick, boy. Please pretend I didn't say that. And I suppose you can get a standing up pose. Oh, you can. Look at that. We're all get it. Cringe. All right.
Oh, yes.
Let's look at Vertebreak.
Oh,
Thank you very much for subscribing. Subscribe for more toy reviews, live or edited. I have no idea what the hell she's supposed to be. Does anyone know what the hell this is? Doesn't look like any dinosaur I've seen. Looks like a raptor, kind of, or a however the hell you pronounce that full name of that dinosaur. I like how she looks.
Oh, yes.
Okay, chat is saying it's a Draco Rex or a Dracodon. Thank you very much. But yeah, I really like how this mode looks a lot. The painting that you saw in the robot mode, of course, carries over in a beautiful way. Artfully done gradient going throughout the body from head to the tip of the tail, and the robot mode just completely disappears just due to the nature of the design. It's awesome. Let me just get a look at that kibble. Not super distracting. Posability wise, actually has an opening jaw, which was overly tight. And not only that, the bottom jaw here is made out of a flexible material. So at a certain point, I felt that by trying to force her mouth open, I would rip this bendable joint straight from that hinge. Just take your time. You can always heat that up with a hairdryer, like 5 seconds. Heat that up a little bit and you'll be able to get her wide open, baby. Oh boy. Don't give the not safe for work artist any ideas. Yeah, and no arm posability at all. They're just static like that. That's okay. And the legs are the same. Exactly the same as the robot mode. And the tail, bendy, but doesn't hold positions at all. That is the totally real dinosaur called a Draco Rex. Not bad at all. Okay, now we're gonna talk about Optimus Prime. Long boy. Due to the nature of the transformation, the truck mode looks like it was stretched. It doesn't look the best. This is far from my favorite Optimus Prime truck mode. Everything else is all right. Longimus Prime. And the connections, as I mentioned during the transformation, not the best either. They tend to unplug when you're handling him. Weapon storage, pretty basic. You can plug the gun between his legs. Not between his legs, but you know what I mean. Doesn't look bad. Or you have the option of plugging it into this tab here. My voice, but from what I remember, the tab, the connection doesn't even want to do it. So that is pointless. And by the way, Vertebreak, weapon storage is part of the transformation. And Rattrap, I forgot to mention, his weapon storage is also not the best. You plug it into his leg like this. It fits, but it doesn't look great. It's not terrible, but it's no Transformers Generations Rattrap, which tucked really nicely in the bottom. See if I could fudge it. That just kind of disintegrated the rat when I tried doing that. Thank you. Can we get a like for Ratcock? My two favorites. It's a toss-up between these two in terms of alternate modes, but I think I'm gonna go with Rattrap again. So Rattrap is my overall favorites of the set. Of course, they decrease in height and increase in width. Modica, Godzilla, and MP10 Optimus Prime. Anyone watch my Transformers Generations Rattrap review from a long time ago? Y'all are the real ones. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. These rats look good together. Pretty fun set. I do recommend it. Again, if you want these figures for yourself, 3 out of 5 may be a little too low for these. You know what? And I haven't done this voice in a while. The Godzilla voice that you hear in my videos was pre-recorded ages ago. Let's see if I can still do it. Stay tuned. I'll be right back. And when we come back, I'll be reading your donations, reading your comments, reading your questions. I'll see you very soon. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. What the fuck, a rat?